I want to start expressing my gratitude. I should do that at the end, but I want to start doing that. The support was tremendous. It started when, I was allowed to borrow a computer, the camera, and so forth. So, and Larissa and Lara helping me a lot. We have a very tough schedule this time at the Department of Engineering, probably the same with you. However, the resources were there, so I was just ready to do my part. So, kind of the highlight of the course, I want to say that start like Mark, talking about the challenges, definitely was challenging and uncertainty associated with the amount of work that would be needed to be able to serve, I don't know, 80, 75, 60, uncertainty associated with that, created some challenges, but that's fine. With support from Laura, we were able to figure out the plan and we decided to move forward. The other, reason of the challenge, but at the end, it was great. It was, to plan for a 7-week course. So since I started teaching many years ago, 20-something years ago, it was like 15, 16-week semester. So at the beginning, it was like, how I'm going to be able to accommodate on that. But you know what? Also with support from Laura and feedback, like attending those presentations from, professors who previously designed courses. I remember that I was here when Chad came and gave a presentation, and he, organized the course, his course that way. So I suggested that to Laura, and then we decided to move forward in that direction. So that's what I would say about the challenges. Design considerations, well, the profile of the student. It's an MBA course, right? I was assumed, or it was assumed all the time that the students will work full time, right? Which will create some challenges regarding the assignments and so forth. You cannot overwhelm them, right? Some of them may be traveling. Some of them may be traveling to China or be in China or in Europe at different time zones. So we have to take that into consideration. Also, we took in consideration that we don't know, and I don't know if some of them had background in supply chain logistics and management, and I didn't want the class to be very low, or on the other, case, very, very advanced. So Laura and I, discussed about it, and we decided to come up with number one, like you mentioned, Connie, no exams. And I don't remember if you mentioned that you have exams or not, Mark.
No, just a few quizzes, but everything's project oriented.
So we decided to move in that direction. So no exam, just kind of hands-on activity of a reasonable level of complexity, not high, not because they will not be able to deal with that, but maybe they would be very busy work. So after saying that, this is what we did. So we have the start here. In the start here, basically, it's just like an welcome video, right? Talk about, the course calendar that, reflects, everything is there, the week by week. And like you, Mark, I think it's that you mentioned, very similar to you, I have, one module for each week, but one of the modules, the last one, lasts 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? That's why I have six modules, and one of them lasting, 2 weeks. And that was planned that way. So going back to here, so as I mentioned, the course calendar, very important, right? Because it reflects everything that will be done, right? So this is the week 4, this is week 1, right? The dates, the deliverables, what we're expecting the students to work on, the instructional materials that will be, working on, and the module objectives and so forth. I want to take advantage of this moment to talk about this. So we have 3 books to read, but I wanted to be that way. One of them is like a textbook, the foundation about logistics, supply chain. The other book, since one of the assignments is about e-commerce, a recommended book to read if you want to learn about e-commerce, is the book of the founder of Amazon.com, Jeff Bezos. And it's very nice because he talks about since he first started, conceiving this idea of selling books over the internet. And now the title of the book, reflects well what Amazon is about. Is the everything store, right? So it's a book easy to read. You don't need to be an expert, but certainly will enrich. The other book to read is one of the activities. Let me say this in the right way. So the College of Business, right? From my College of Business, they are members of the SAP University Alliance, right? The SAP University Alliance, SAP is an enterprise software that instead of the companies and enterprises having silos of information like the accounting department, his own information system, and the production management having his own information system, there is a central database where all the transactions are posted and everybody has visibility. Well, having said that, is something very relevant, and the College of Business have done a great job paying whatever is needed to be paid. I just don't know, but I'm sure it's not free, right? For the college, for the students to have access to all kind of instructional materials, curriculum, and professors, and so forth. So the third book, having said that, the third book to read is one that is part of the lab, the SAP has. SAP is the enterprise software that has for the students to learn and familiarize themselves with, how the information is entered, how the information is displayed, how the reports get issued. So it's great. So Laura and I decided, let's do it. This would be great. And Professor Avi, he's very busy. He came to my office and then he told me, he's a very nice person, but he told me, you know what, Marco, I really want you to do something with SAP. I mean, it would be great because it's something that we are paying, and this is something that, the students can use in other classes. So it kind of became a design requirement to incorporate that. So that's the third book. The other 2 activities, instructional material, this one is, the Harvard Publishing Company. So the, Harvard Business School, they have a company that sells case studies and simulations and so forth. So I found one related to supply chain logistics. So I decided to investigate more, and they have a great simulation game, and that became, after discussing with Lara, one of the other, activities of the students. The last one will be or is, the SAP simulation, and I will talk about that in a minute. So let me navigate this quickly. So in module one, the students will be basically, reading, a specific chapters in the textbook, and then they will work on a case study, Harvard case study that is very rich, in content and material that allows students to learn about the foundation of logistics, customer service, customer centricity, and all that. So there is a discussion board there, so the student will have to react to postings, provided by other students and so forth. So we wanted to do that as well. So if I forget to mention, in all these modules, whenever there is an activity or assignment, there is a rubric associated with that. So in module 2, it's a great project, from consulting, from experience in consulting that talks about, relocating a distribution center. There is a lot of analytics there, so the students will have to analyze data like volume, distance travel, production costs, transportation costs, and so forth, at the reasonable level in terms of amount that the students will be able to finish. It's a group project. It's a good project, and the students also will have to post the comments regarding the work, provided by the other teams. So then we jump to module 3. In module 3 is where I, after, because I assume that by then the students have read, relevant chapters in the textbook, then they will be able to work on the Harvard, supply chain simulation. That is also good. It's not complicated. It's about the fictitious company, and the students will have to make these decisions such as where to locate the distribution center, how many distribution centers to have, and so forth. So it's kind of interesting. The 4 and 5 modules. So I decided, and after discussing this with Lara, I decided to incorporate 2 research projects. One that I'm really fascinated about, and I think is relevant, and with support from USI, I have been there twice, and I hope to be there in the summer. I keep my fingers crossed, to Panama. So I don't know if you have heard about the expansion of the Panama Canal, right? It will create a change in traffic, because now basically the reason why the canal was expanded is because it will be able to, bigger ships will be able to go through the canal. And it's economies of scale. Even ships are bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So let me tell you something. Heidi again, she invited me the first time to Panama to help, recruiting students. So I went, but then I saw the Panama Canal and I fell in love. There's a lot of things that we can learn here. And then the second time the same with Dr. Gordon, who moved to the university in Washington State. So the third time is I'm gonna go again, in the recruitment trip, but I'm gonna have a chance to go to the new set of blogs, and it's gonna be great. So the project here is about, the students investigating the economic impact, of the expansion of the Panama Canal in the United States. The impact is anticipated to be, for instance, like the bigger ports on the big ports on the East Coast will be able to attract big ships, right? More cargo means more jobs. More cargo means, more companies relocated, closer to the port. Like Walmart is relocating 2 distribution centers, huge, one in the state of New York, close to the port of New Jersey, New York, and the other close to the port of Jacksonville. So that's what the students will learn in Module 4. In Module 5, we cannot neglect, the impact in our life of e-commerce, right? I mean, at some degree, we are doing some e-commerce. And e-commerce implies logistics. Some companies or some products or some companies are offering same-day delivery in the largest cities of the United States. So in this project, the students will learn about, the challenges, and the evolution of e-commerce and so forth. So Module 6, I already mentioned about SAP. I decided to create, impact from Lara was great, to have like a Q&A forum, like similar to emails. I don't have that, but that makes sense. Perhaps I should adopt it, But the Q&A forum is just like for questions that, common questions, like Larissa may ask something about, so when this assignment due? And Connie may have the same question and she doesn't need to send me an email. In the welcome video, however, I'm encouraging the students to, if you have a particular question, like let's say Marco, I'm going to China. Let's say that you are going to China. I will be unable to work, because of the flying time, the jet lag, and the different time zones. I'm gonna be completely asynchronous with you, So in situations like that, the students can contact me directly. So more, this button to check grade, to send an email in case that they want to, and so forth. So this is pretty much, the design of the course. I want to add what I have here. I already talked about this. The last 12 weeks, I think what I observe, from Laura, and the same with you, Larissa, of course, that we have to make sure that the students will not be lost. We have to add enough detail. Okay, Laura was constantly asking, okay, how the students going to be able to get access to the material? Is there a link provided? it's the kind of instructions to do that. So she was emphasizing all that all the time. As far as feedback, my feedback is like, please maintain the good practices, right? Great. The enthusiasm is evident. And I think that's a difference. Don't you agree? Like you come to this place and, the three of you, the four of you used to be when Joan was here, right? Enthusiastic, helping and so forth. Thanks for your flexibility. As I said, we have a couple of days, or I have a couple of days that I was unable to come here. In the presentations, I think the presentations are great, because the students, we learn how others implement and start asking questions and so forth. And what else? Just in summary, I have 2 case studies, 2 research projects, 2 discussion boards, 2 simulations. And at this point, I don't know if Laura is there or some. Where is Laura?
No,
That's fine. Just tell her. Tell her.
Her internet kept interrupting. She called and said that there's internet power outage. So
That's fine. Just you are. Laura is part of this team. Just tell her that I appreciate significantly, big time, the support provided. The little things. You guys help, especially with the little things, like you mentioned, Connie. Like you mentioned, remember when you have something here, I don't remember what, that you say like, you have highlighted in yellow, Larissa posted this for me, something like that. You said, that's great. Those little things, believe it or not, really help us. It's like a jump start, like your car is not starting for some reason. And then you come, let me help you, Marco. There you go. And then we're, rolling and so forth. So thanks. Thank you so much, for everything, and I look forward to finishing this project, successfully and be able, Mark, to continue working with the College of Business. I say that with sincerity. Great group of people. My department too. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I see that you guys, moving forward. This idea of the MBA program is great. Thank you for the invitation. I hope that you guys will not be disappointed with the work that we will do. And then we continue, expanding, the engineering track as well. Thank you.
Thank you.